Hadrian Peverell, the Immortal Stuntman, Arc 1, The Beginning, Part 1, August 3rd, 1985. Harry's point of view. I'm so happy. Today I start primary school, which means I can make some friends. I never have time to go to the park or just go outside to play because Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon give me so many chores, and I'm not allowed to go out to play until they're done. I've never understood why they give me so many chores when Dudley doesn't have to do anything. I even got some new clothes. Granted, it's only 3 shirts, 1 pair of pants, a jacket, a pair of running shoes, and from a second-hand shop. But at least they aren't hand-me-downs, and they fit with a bit of room to grow. I even got to take a bath with warm water today. As I dry off, I look at myself in the mirror. I have an oval-shaped face with soft, delicate features, full, pouty lips, and a slightly upturned button nose. My hair is a mess of blue-black curls and waves that stops just below my ears. I'm also a bit on the small side with a lithe, willowy build, and you can slightly see the outline of my bones. But the thing I like most about my appearance is my eyes. They're emerald green with small flecks and swirls of silver in them, and they're almond-shaped. My least favorite part would have to be the lightning bolt scar on my forehead. It's not like I'm being vain or anything like that. It's just that whenever I look at it, I see a flash of green, and then it starts to throb in pain. Today I'm wearing a soft olive green t-shirt, dark blue jeans, and my new shoes. I grabbed my backpack, also from the second-hand store, filled with the bare minimum of the usual school supplies and the large lunch I made for myself. Granted, it was only 1 PB&J and a ham and cheese sandwich, but I usually get much less because Aunt Petunia usually forgets about me and only makes enough for 3 people, or I get punished for whatever thing I did or Dudley pinned on me. I'm used to it because it's always been this way, but that doesn't mean it hurts any less. They always pretend that I'm not even there, and when they do, it's usually to give me my chores list to occasionally hit me or yell at me for some stupid reason. Boy, you missed a weed. Freak, you missed some dust. That's another thing. They never call me by my name. For the first 3 years of my short life, I thought my name was Freak Boy. You read that right. That's what I thought my name was. I only learned my name when I was first babysat by Miss Fig, because it was Dudley's 3rd birthday and they were going to London and didn't want the freak to ruin it. The only way I'd ruin it is because when I'm allowed to go with them, instead of people oohing and awing over their precious ditty-dums, which never happens, like, ever, they begin to coo over me instead, telling my relatives how pretty or handsome I am. They then start comparing me to either their children or Dudley and putting me in a good light because I'm so much better behaved and so polite and so kind, and you're so lucky to have him. As I make my way to the car, I see Aunt Petunia crooning about how Dudley is going to be top of the class because he's so amazing and advanced. I could practically see his ego swelling like a hot air balloon. It's another thing I never understood. They constantly praise and reward any accomplishment Dudley makes, and either glare at me for any milestone I accomplish or just flat out ignores it happened until my cousin does it. I mean, I can already count to 35, while Dudley can barely count to 10. I was walking at 1.5 years old, while my darling cousin barely began toddling at 2.5 years old. Though that could just be because he was already the size of a large beach ball. In the cases where they ignore it, they accuse me of copying their precious baby, scold me, and then throw me in my cupboard. Oh, that's another thing. My bedroom was the cupboard under the stairs, which I never understood because there are 4 bedrooms in the house. the master bedroom, Dudley's bedroom, Dudley's second bedroom, and the guest room. I never asked, though. Rule number 1, don't ask questions. This is the first of many rules I learned that I needed to follow for a relatively peaceful life within the Dursley household. I found out this rule when I asked Aunt Petunia what happened to my parents, which earned me a screech of "a car crash" and a swift hit of a rolling pin to the head. A swift whack of the rolling pin to the head. I've secretly read every book in the house. For some reason, I remember everything I've ever seen or read since the day I woke up on the Dursleys' doorstep. From the day I woke up on the Dursleys' doorstep onwards. It's a strange thing, so I never told the Dursleys about this ability, because contrary to what they believe, I'm not retarded. That's yet another thing about me. I can easily understand and comprehend whatever. That's yet another thing about me. I can easily understand and comprehend whatever I hear and learn. It became even easier to understand the adults better after in a fit of boredom, I read the dictionary in the house. I just soak up knowledge like a dried out sponge. And it's amazing what adults will talk about in front of you simply because they think you don't understand what they're saying. There's one thing I know for a fact I'm not doing at school, no matter how horrid of a punishment I would receive. I 100% absolutely refuse to hide my intelligence. Rule number 2. Never do the same or surpass Dudley in anything. My relatives expect me to always be slightly or completely behind Dudley. Anything else would result in punishment, i.e. no meals, cupboard, spanking, etc. The problem with this is that Dudley is stupider than a pile of dung and will definitely be at the bottom of the class. Wait, that's insulting to the dung. I apologize. Anyway, I'll do only my absolute best in all my classes, no matter what. Oh dear, I drifted off in my thoughts again. We're already there. As I get out of the car, Aunt Petunia gives me a cold, hard look, as if to say, do one freakish thing, even one toe out of the line, and there will be hell to pay. Now, if this was a year and a half ago, I would have been cowed. But it's not, so I don't care. Sure, punishments can hurt or are all around unpleasant. It doesn't mean I fear them, though I do avoid them if I can help it. I walk into the classroom to see at least half of the class is already there. So I go take a seat at one of the tables in the middle since no one was sitting there yet. But not before greeting the teacher with a soft smile, a nod of the head, and a quiet hello. She smiled right back with a light blush. That happens a lot. A lot of people say I have a soothing, melodic voice. I don't truly understand what that means. It makes people happy, so I guess that's fine. My teacher is extremely pretty. She's young compared to all the other ladies I've seen on Private Drive. She has long strawberry blonde hair tied in a loose braid with a few curls framing her square face and small lips. She has round hazel green eyes that seem to sparkle whenever she smiles. I think she would be considered petite, but that's just compared to the women I've met before. She's wearing a white cardigan over a black knee-length dress with white cats on it, with black leggings and ballet flats. Her name, as she told us as we came in, is Miss Jackson. As I set my bag down, a boy sat down next to me. He was kind of average, but at the same time not. He had brown hair, but it looked soft and curly and shined when the light touched it. His eyes were brown, though it was a whiskey amber kind of brown. His face was heart-shaped with a button nose and average features. He was wearing a red hoodie over a t-shirt with a Batman symbol, with blue jeans and Converse. He then turned to me and said, "Hi, my name is Liam. What's your name?" "Nice to meet you, Liam," I said. "My name is Harry." We then got to talking about all sorts of things, from our favorite thing to do to our favorite color. We might have actually been great friends if it wasn't for, you guessed it, Dudley. He waddled into the classroom, huffing and puffing a minute before the class was going to start, though he quickly forgot his exhaustion when he saw me smiling and laughing with Liam. My cousin is just like his parents when it comes to me. Mean and cruel. If anything makes me happy and or content, Dudley will be right there to ruin or destroy it. I immediately know what's going through his piggy brain, his piggy little mind right now. I quickly try to warn Liam about my cousin, but it's too late. Dudley is the same as Uncle Vernon in the aspect of being faster than his weight should allow when angry or destroying something that brings me joy. To make matters worse, Miss Jackson had stepped out to get some papers for some of the activities that had just finished printing. Dudley had taken a running start and tackled Liam, then started hitting him with his book bag, with me trying to pry him off the entire time. I miraculously managed to pull him off, but not before Dudley shouted, "Stay away from the freak or I'll hurt you!" Now most everyone was giving me a wide berth as if I had a contagious disease. Just then Miss Jackson came in. The moment the strawberry blonde saw the state Liam was in, she dropped the papers and rushed to his side. She then turned to the closest person, which was, thankfully, me, and demanded an explanation of what happened. I told the entire truth of what happened and why, of how Dudley hates anything that makes me happy, to how he attacked Liam, to what he shouted. I'm thankful she asked me. If she had asked Dudley, he would have spun a tale of how I did this. One of the braver girls stepped forward and told the teacher what I said was true, along with her side of things. He came in, looked at Liam, and completely flipped for no reason. And slowly, more people came up to give their side of what happened. Miss Jackson was livid and disgusted by how horribly a child could act. She immediately went to the teacher across the hall to ask him to watch the class while she took Dudley to the headmistress's office. The teacher agreed, and we were quickly shuffled into the other classroom, while Miss Jackson took Dudley to the office and Liam to the nurse. We all sat in silence as we waited for Miss Jackson to return to get us. Finally, the silence was broken by Rose. It was a black-haired, blue-eyed girl with pretty tan skin. "Why does that boy hate when you're happy?" "Who is he?" she asked. "That boy is my cousin Dudley, and I don't know why he doesn't like to see me happy. Aunt Petunia and Uncle Vernon are the same, though it doesn't bother me much anymore." I lied about the last part. It does still slightly hurt whenever it happens. Though I'm sad that Liam probably won't want to be my friend anymore. I never got to have a friend before, because I could never get my chores done in time to go out to play. That got the attention of the teacher who is watching us right now, Mr. June. "How many chores do you have, Mr. Potter?" he asked with concern. "Well, first I must help make breakfast, then I have to wash the dishes as soon as possible. After that I have to sweep, vacuum, mop, wax, and polish the floors. Then I must clean Dudley's bedroom. Then I must clean Dudley's room, which is always messy no matter how hard I clean it, and..." I trailed off as I see the looks of horror growing on the teachers' and some students' faces. I know I probably shouldn't use the acting skills I've acquired for lying, from lying and hiding certain things from the Dursleys, but my instincts are telling me good things will happen for me if I do this. My instincts have never led me wrong and have kept me from making decisions that would have caused me a world of pain. So I went with it. I flinch with a slight look of fear and apprehension, with small tears in the corners of my eyes. I'm sorry if I said something wrong. I promise I'll be good, but please don't punish me, I said with small tears leaking from my eyes. It's just how I act when my aunt or uncle was about to punish me, because if I don't show fear and beg, it gets worse. Though watching the reaction to my lowest begging mode, it was probably a bit too much for them. With a slight look of panic and horror, Mr. June tried his best to calm me. Hey, shh, it's okay. No one's going to hurt you. You're safe. Don't worry, I've got you. Just breathe. The last one confused me until upon realization that while my mind was calm, my body not so much. Realizing I can't breathe and, oh my god, why can't I breathe? Am I dying? What's happening to me? Somebody please help. I don't think I realized my hyperventilating had slipped into a panic attack, and I tried frantically to focus on either Mr. June's heartbeat, breathing, or voice. My hearing latched onto his voice. I was slowly able to come back to myself. That was my first time having a panic attack. It was so terrifying. I didn't have any control over my body. I could barely speak, and what did come out was gibberish or a single word that meant nothing. And it was so tiring. I was so close to drifting off, and Mr. June kept saying I had to stay awake for a little bit more, then I could take a nap. But I'm tired now, and it's so hard to stay awake when I'm pressed against the warm thing. I vaguely register it as Mr. June's chest as it vibrates with a soft, deep chuckle. I faintly hear him telling Miss Jackson something. That's strange. When did she get here? I started to doze off, but he gently shook me again, saying, You can't fall asleep yet, Bambino Piccolo. Just a little further, okay? He carried me out to the front, where a large vehicle with flashing lights was located. I recognized it from the telly and descriptions in books. It was an ambulance. But why is it here? It's for you, Bambino Piccolo. Can he read minds? I felt rather than heard Mr. June chuckle slightly. You're adorable, Bambino Piccolo. Hey, I resent that. I am very manly, thank you very much. Yes, little one. Extremely manly. My mistake. Yes, little one. Extremely manly. My mistake. Why do I feel like I'm being mocked and patronized right now? I'm not mocking you, little one. I'm curious as to know how you know all this. Well, mister, I'm not a mind reader. I have this weird thing where I remember everything I've ever seen, heard, or read from the moment I woke up on Dursley's doorstep onwards. I felt his steps falter before they resumed as if nothing happened. He then laid me down on a strange bed and turned to leave. No, don't leave me with these people. They're scary. I latched onto his hand with all my might, afraid if I didn't, he would leave. You have to let go, Bambino Piccolo. It's okay. You're safe with these people. They're here to help you. It's all right. Nothing bad will happen to you. No, please don't leave me alone. I hate being alone. It's so dark and cold. I hate it. That woman feels like the really bad man. Please don't leave me. I faintly hear him talking to a lady about whether this is all right or not. I guess she said it's fine because he comes to sit next to me. Author's note. To those who have little ones in their family or know someone with little ones, teach them to kick and scream and bite if someone who isn't a family member tries to pick them up and do bad things. Also, a message to everyone: do not get to the second location if abducted. Try everything to get out of the situation. If you can't, leave as much of your DNA as possible. Spit, rip your hair out, make yourself bleed, anything. Try your hardest, because there are people who will miss you dearly, even if you don't believe it. Rant over. Little one, what did you mean by the lady feels like the Batman? He asked. One of the few times the Dursleys took me with them to London, there was a strange man who was following us. I had to pee, so Uncle Vernon let me go on my own with the time limit of 5 minutes or they would leave me there. I knew they weren't bluffing, so I ran to the nearest restroom, but he followed me there. He tried to corner me in there. He kept talking about how pretty I was, how he wanted me to be his most prized pet, about how he would take good care of me, about how he would play with me. I didn't like what he was saying, and when I took a closer look, it was the man from the telly who was abducting children and who Aunt Petunia said was the worst kind of person imaginable. So I did what my aunt told us to do. Author's note. Vernon and Petunia may be neglected and abusive towards Harry, but they would never allow that to happen to him. He's still a child. They're not complete monsters in this fic. Also, Harry is so out of it that he doesn't realize he's talking out loud. The moment he grabbed me and put a hand on the back of my pants and undies, I screamed as loud as I could, bit him, scratched and clawed, hit and punched, kneed and kicked, all the while screaming my head off. The door had swung open and there was Uncle Vernon and some policemen. I had seen my uncle go completely red in the face from anger, but I had never seen him turn purple in absolute rage before in my life. Before the police could do anything, Uncle Vernon had flown forward and ripped me away from him. It was strange. The only times Uncle Vernon bothered to touch and acknowledge me was to give me punishments and to scold me. Though I guess he hates people who take pleasure from kids. He hates people who take pleasures in kids more than freaks like me. Author's note. Pedos are the scum of the earth, and this is only for plot reasons. I've always been able to tell if a person is good, bad, or morally gray. Though with the lady, it's not so much her, but the thing on her left forearm. I'm tired, but I don't want you to leave. My head hurts and I'm sleepy. Sleep, bambino piccolo. I'll be here when you wake, Mr. June said. Pinky promise? I felt something wrap around my pinky, cross my heart. Now, get some rest, bambino piccolo. But it's hard. Well, how about a lullaby? Okay, it sounds nice. I'm not singing. You can't make me. And with that, I slipped off into oblivion. I slipped off into the oblivion that is sleep.